Again, thank you for joining us. And Kyla, like I said, I was putting on the spot here, so I would love if I could pass it to you to share some words about this program and really ground us here today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyra. And hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm super excited to be here and Happy New Year to you all. So, this quote, which is interesting that I'm quoting myself here, storytelling unlocks the full potential of digital equity, transforming access into empowerment, confidence into courage, safety into assurance, and infrastructure into a foundation for boundless innovation and growth. One of the things that we noticed at the beginning of this journey, so I've been with Cook County in this inaugural role as the Digital Equity Director since June of 2022. And one of the things that we noticed early on was that there was a need for more storytelling from the folks who are doing this work, from the people who have experienced skills building and growth in this area, for others who are interested in joining the ecosystem but were unaware of an entry point. And so the spirit of this program, this project, this grant opportunity is really to intentionally intersect digital inclusion with storytelling. So this is now our second round. Our first round, we had 14 amazing organizations doing a variety of projects, and we are super excited to be able to offer a second round this year. So I'll turn it back over to our colleagues Tyra and Mauricio to guide you a little bit through what we're going to experience together today. And always, if you have questions, please ask them. This is a safe space and it doesn't serve you to sit in your misunderstanding. So we want you to walk away from this moment with full clarity and confidence on what you would like to do as it pertains to this program. So
Thank you for such a strong kickoff there, Kyla. Much appreciated. And yes, just to plus one what Kyla said there about asking questions, this is really a space where we want to support you and we want to see the creativity, innovation, and drive that folks are bringing to this work. So please ask your questions. Moving on, here's a just quick look at our agenda. Like I mentioned, we'll be doing some introductions so you could hear more about the project team and so we can learn more about you as well. And then our colleague Mauricio will take us through an overview of the impact program, its objectives, and what we're trying to accomplish. Then I'll walk us through eligibility for the program, types of organizations that can apply, and what we're looking for in terms of um, applicants' eligibility. We'll also look at the opportunity available, specifically the three grant tiers that are available for this round of funding: Boost, Empowerment, and Horizon tiers. We'll look at the application itself and go through the questions and provide some more context on those as well as the scoring for this application round. And then we'll wrap up with a summary of key dates to keep in mind as applications are due next week. So let's get started. We want to hear more about what drives you in this work and your digital equity story and how you're coming into the space. So in the chat, please introduce yourself by sharing your name, your pronouns, your organization, and a 7-word-ish story on how digital access has impacted your life or community. I know 7 words, it's a little tricky, but I could kick us off just to get us going, and I'll pass it to Kyla and Mauricio as well so you could hear more from us. Like I said, my name is Tyra Bosnick. I use she, her pronouns, and I work here at City Bureau, which is a nonprofit journalism innovation lab based in Chicago. And my digital equity story is that digital access has impacted how me and the people I care about are informed about civic issues and our civic life. Mauricio, I'd love to pass it to you next.
Hey, Tyra, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mauricio Jimenez, and I'm the Digital Equity Coordinator here in the Office of Cook County Board President Tony Perkwinkle. Um, so I guess a little short story of how digital access has impacted my life. Um, Something I'll kind of always go back to. I previously worked in the district office for the Illinois House of Representatives. And I remember at the time, before I even knowing what digital equity was or how it impacted communities or its importance, I saw firsthand um, a constituent coming into the office and needing assistance for an application, and he didn't have um, a smartphone or an email even. So um, I guess quickly in 7 words, access to technology changes the trajectory of lives. And it's important that we support that and tell those stories. I'll pass it over to Kyla.
Thank you, Mauricio. And y'all have heard from me already. Again, Kyla Williams Tate, Digital Equity Director here in the Office of the President at Cook County Government. And like Mauricio, I have a million stories around how digital equity has impacted my life. But I will share this short word story because I've been working on my brevity. It's part of my practice this year. Access open doors, equity ensures everyone enters. Tyra, back to you to share some of our chat stories.
Yes, thank you. I would love if some folks can come off mute here and, if you've already shared in the chat or just want to share live your story, please let's hear from some folks in the call today.
Yeah, Vernon Fleming here. Can everybody see me? Southside Consulting, South Side of Chicago. And digital equity for me would be access, mobility, education, freedom, and community. I think that's 7 words. Yeah, give or take. So
Very punchy. Thank you for that, Vernon.
Hello, my name is Monica, and I run a intervention service in Inglewood, and digital equity to me would be that every CPS student or school age student and family will have access to a computer, at least a tablet, and it would be a requirement that CPS would make sure that each student and family has, it's not 7 words, has their CPS credentials. I probably could figure out how to say it in 7 words.
Hi,
Thank you for them.
everyone. My name is Vanielle Foster. I'm the founder of Tech Her Out Foundation, nonprofit, and my other day job is the assistant principal at Lane Lock Charter School. And during COVID, I noticed that and witnessed firsthand how the godmothers and aunties and aunts had such a difficult time navigating online learning, and myself included. Generation X realized that I needed some more technology and it wasn't available. So I started check her out, but tech her out. And it's for women of color, 40 years of age and older. We have classes where we teach from smartphone, how to deliver your food and prescriptions and make appointments. And so just for me personally, it helped me understand my limitations and that I still have a lot to learn and I still have a lot to offer. So I noticed a lot of my parents, they were saying they had to retire because they weren't tech savvy. I'm here to change that you still have it. We still got to check her out. So that's what Check Her Out does. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Daryl Hughes of Hughes Who Technology Studio. I'm co-founder with my wife. I'm a game developer, college professor. Our goal is to create opportunities for kids in the gaming and tech industry. We only 5% of jobs in the game and tech industries as African Americans. People don't realize games have migrated from just entertainment to the medical field, business, tech, and business and training. So our goal is to give more opportunities to these kids who don't have computers at home, technology at home, or in their schools. So we go to their schools and their community centers and teach them about gaming and technology, AI, VR, those type of things. Thank you.
Hello, Natalia Cardenas. I work at Chicago State University. I'm the project manager of the Advancing Broadband Equity through Learning in Tertiary Neighborhoods and she, her pronouns. What I would say digital equity means to me is that it means bringing community together. That's something I've witnessed within this project that I've worked on at Chicago State in collaboration with Northeastern Illinois University. It brings community. I've seen people come together from different backgrounds, different ages, all in one place, and just knowledge is power. I think they've built trust and they've been comfortable to explore what's out there and it bridges opportunities of what else is out there. So, yes.
Thank you for that, Natalia, and thank you to everybody for sharing your stories live and in the chat. I am so excited to just learn more from everybody here and take the oh, Megastar Media. I see your hand is raised.
Oh, hello. Thank you, everyone, for having us. We're Megastar Media. We're a film and video production company, and we also do a lot of community projects and programs around the city. Our 7 words, I wrote it down. Provide students with tech and industry access. We love seeing, kids with drones and tablets in their hands. We love them seeing lighting up when we give them access to film, professional film equipment, that they otherwise wouldn't have at school. So that's where we specialize.
Thank you for that. And just for the sake of time, we'll keep us moving so we could go through the overview of the program. But please continue chatting in the chat function, sharing your insights and perspectives. And again, if you have questions, we'll make some pauses for those throughout the presentation. But for now, just make sure that when it pops in your mind, feel free to drop it in the chat, and we'll keep an eye out for those so we could address them. So just keeping us moving here, we're going to go into the project overview. I'm going to pass it to my colleague Mauricio to take us through the Impact Program and its objectives.
Perfect. Thank you, Tara, and hello again, everyone. I'm so happy to read and hear about all the wonderful work that all of you do. As a older Gen Z, I think I had kind of the privilege of growing up with technology, but we certainly see that that's not the case everywhere, especially in Cook County. So happy to give a little bit of an overview of the project and um, some of the work behind the scenes and the work that brought us here to the plan today. So to further advance digital equity action and address gaps through our digital equity action plan, we in the Office of the Cook County Board President and City Bureau have partnered to co-design, coordinate, and implement activities for the Digital Equity Impact Small Grants Program, which is the first of its kind funding opportunity that focuses on digital equity and storytelling. So just like all of you have shared your story, we need to continue to tell those stories and continue to tell them in a way that is that everyone can understand. And sometimes it's challenging, right? Being in this space, digital equity sometimes is a term that might not be used. People might not understand it. So to continue to tell those stories is vital and crucial to further expand the work in this constantly ever-changing digital space. Next slide. So some background. In Illinois, 4 out of 10 unconnected Illinois households reside in Cook County, and that's pretty significant. So our work, Kyla and I, are really striving to ensure that we have the access and the connectivity in all of Cook County. And we need all of your support and all of your stories to do that. So here are some quotes from Cook County residents as we've done some of the outreach and engagement throughout our policy plan and our digital equity action plan. So, I was not aware this was a problem for people until today. It might have positive and negative consequences depending on how responsibility it is used. So, as we've kind of worked on this, and I've been in this position now for close to 2 years, I've seen the importance of digital equity, and often residents might not know about this being a problem or might not be aware of it, of the magnitude. So again, I just want to reiterate the importance of telling these stories, and to be a part of this ecosystem and this work that we're really building here. Next slide. So as many of you may know, Cook County is the second largest county in the nation per populace. And as the second largest county, to see these numbers, 21% lack broadband access. 3 out of 10 households is no computing device in the household, and 11% lack cellular data access. So that's pretty big numbers for the second largest county. So again, we really want to ensure that these stories are told so that we can, shift policy priorities and continue working with communities and residents to bring these numbers down. We want broadband access to increase, and I will drop in the chat some of our information regarding our plan, our digital equity action plan, our digital equity map as well. We have a map that charts Cook County communities and assigns a score from 0 to 100 based on digital equity. So kind of gives that overview, and a lot of that work is what drives this program as well. Next slide. So like I mentioned, our digital equity action plan is our plan forward for digital equity, and the plan is structured into 4 cornerstones. That's access, confidence, safety, and infrastructure. We want to ensure residents have the access required to get high quality internet and devices, the tools and support to use them, ensuring that residents have the confidence to use those devices and the skills and comfort to navigate them, and that they're safe while they're doing so. Obviously, cybersecurity is a big feed, and we want to ensure that digital environments are protected and people themselves are protected online. And lastly, infrastructure. We want to ensure that there's sufficient data centers, conduits, satellites, and all the physical work required to ensure everyone can safely access the internet. And our plan is also divided up, each cornerstone, with an impact solution. And each impact solution is innovative, measurable, purposeful, actionable, collaborative, and timely. Next slide. So a little bit of the overview and objectives surrounding the project. So the Impact Small Grants Program really adds capacity and provides resources to existing Cook County organizations, suburban Cook County organizations that implement these digital equity activities. And it is a pilot programming, so we want to ensure that it aligns with one or more of our impact solution recommendations and our cornerstones. And we also see this as a way to build partnerships and grow our ecosystem. So we want, if you're a storyteller, if you work in local media, journalists, we want to ensure you could capture, create, share the content to strengthen our ecosystem and expand access and equity to information. So we want to really establish this growing community of practice to foster collaboration, share best practices, and drive collective impact. Next slide. So a little bit about the ecosystem, right? And this is one of my favorite pages in our digital equity action plan, because now that you all are on this conversation, a part of this work, and hearing from us, you are now part of our ecosystem. So I love this graphic here. Whether you're in a community group, an ISP, social services, a religious institution, now that you see it, you are also a part of our ecosystem. So like I said, we really want to raise awareness, engage the community, drive policy changes that benefit our residents, and increases connectivity, and we also want to inspire innovation. So just like all these wonderful stories you all are telling, continue to drive forward innovative solutions to bridge the digital divide. And I'll pass it over to Tyra to talk a little bit about the eligibility for the program.
Thank you for that, Mauricio, and thank you for walking us through the program. So, as you heard from the Digital Equity Action Plan, we have a number of objectives and cornerstones that this program seeks to realize. And when it comes to eligibility, nonprofit organizations that serve suburban Cook County and are tax exempt under 501(c)(3) status are eligible to apply. And if you're a newer or a smaller nonprofit organization, if you have a fiscal sponsor, for example, or you plan to partner with a more established nonprofit organization, you're also eligible for this funding opportunity. And that funding opportunity is these three grant tiers. So for round two of the Cook County Digital Equity Impact Program, we have the Boost tier, which is for new, smaller scale projects at $7,500 each, and we have 5 grants total for this tier. We also have the empowerment tier for existing larger scale projects at 15,000. Here we have 9 grants total that are available. And then what's new and exciting for this round of the impact program that's different from our first round of funding is that we have a new tier available, the Horizon tier, which is focused on scalable infrastructure projects. We have 1 grant for this at 30,000. The To give you some examples of what projects have looked like before, we've seen everything from media literacy workshops for the digital age, whether it's newsrooms or publishers or digital access leaders providing media literacy workshops. We also have seen free digital skills training and adult education around digital skills and access. We've seen grantees that have started new initiatives that are connecting people with new and emerging technology. And we've also seen learn to own programs that provide people with devices. And these are just some of examples that we've seen. New ideas are entirely welcome for this round of funding, but these are just some examples that can help give you a sense of alignment and different approaches folks in the program have taken. And to go a little deeper into that, we also have some examples from our first round of funding. And again, I just want to say at the top that these are just examples. Really, what we want to show is, as you see on the slide here, partnerships are key. And as Mauricio mentioned, partnerships and collaboration and storytelling really undergird and build a foundation for this program. And these examples can help show just the variety of ways that can manifest. So for example, Forest Park Public Library, Growing Community Media, and Right to Learn, 3 organizations, partnered to provide digital resilience workshops. These were trauma-informed digital skills workshops at the library. And as a result of that, and through their partnership, they also produced a digital equity series in the Forest Park Review, where participants in the program were able to share in their own words to a reporter why workshops like this matter in their everyday lives, why digital access matters. Then we also have the HANA Center, who is providing culturally relevant workshops on digital skills like how to use a smartphone or how to use a laptop to Korean seniors and adults in the Northwest suburbs. HANA Center has also worked with ethnic media outlets and has used their own newsletter lists to share updates and stories promoting their program and the results from them. And then finally, we have River Oaks Community Education and Development Incorporated, also known as Rock Ed, in the Southland, who is developing an immersive augmented reality / virtual reality education program about the Underground Railroad's history in Cook County. Rock Ed is also working with local storytellers and musicians to narrate the program and collect data about participants' experiences. So this really already shows the kind of breadth and diversity in approaches grantees have already brought to the program and the creativity as well. So with that in mind, let's just walk through the application itself and the scoring process as well. So the application has a total of 15 questions. 4 of those questions are scored, And there's an optional 3-minute video submission. This is optional, but it is highly desired by a review panel. And we'll share more about that in just a moment. We'll just go question by question through the entire application. When you open the link, you'll see this overview that covers what you just heard in our previous slides around the objectives of the program, eligibility, the grant levels, and the scoring. And just as a reminder, applications are due next week, January 14th by 5 p.m. Central Time. The first few questions are very straightforward. First, we ask for the organization name. Now, this would be the lead organization that will be leading communications around the grant process, should you be selected, for example, in case you are in a partnership and wondering whose organization you list here. And then we ask for your website and the name and email of the primary contact for your organization. So this is the person that we should expect to send selection notices, for example, and any kind of questions we might have about your application or your project. And then related to eligibility, we're also asking, are you eligible? And do you meet any of these criteria, whether you are a tax-exempt organization, with 501(c)(3) status, if you're a fiscal sponsee, or if you have a partner in good standing. If any of those apply, you just hit yes. And then the next question here is, what suburban Cook County community or communities do you want serve or want to serve? We're acknowledging here that some projects may be new, and there may be existing work that you're doing in suburban Cook County, so we wanted to count for that. And as Mauricio mentioned, this grant program is focused on projects that are serving suburban Cook County outside of Chicago. So we'd like to know, who do you intend to serve in the suburban Cook County communities through your proposal? And then we have our first scored question here, which is asking you to describe your organization's role in advancing digital equity in Cook County. We want to know in your words, how do you see your impact? How do you see your role in this ecosystem that Mauricio walked us through? And then you'll also choose the grant opportunity you are applying for. You'll choose the one that best aligns with your project, and the review panel will also take this into consideration when reviewing applications. Moving on, you have in the chat the Digital Equity Action Plan and the Digital Equity Cornerstones and Impact Solutions that have been outlined in that plan. And that directly aligns with these two questions here that you're seeing on the screen. We're asking you to choose one of the 4 digital equity cornerstones: access, confidence, safety, and infrastructure, that best describes your projects that you're proposing. You can only choose one that aligns the most, but we also do acknowledge that in a lot of cases, some projects cover a lot of different areas of this work. But we're just asking, where do you see the most alignment? And the same goes with the second question you see here: which impact solution best aligns with your proposed project? Again, this is a single selection of the one that most aligns. And again, recognizing that some folks might be making an impact on many different goals through their work, depending on their approach. We have our next scored question following that, which is really your proposal overview. We're asking for clear project objectives. So what do you plan to do? Who do you want to reach? How will you reach them? The activities that will take place, and the outcomes that you hope to achieve that align with impact as defined in the Digital Equity Action Plan, meaning how will this project be innovative, measurable, purposeful, actionable, collaborative, and timely? And how will it align with one or more of those digital equity cornerstones? So in the previous question, you may have selected one. Here you could show us how your cornerstone is advancing one or more. And then the next scored question as well, as you've been hearing throughout this webinar today, storytelling is really a pillar of this grant program, and we want to understand how storytelling will be incorporated into your proposal. So how do you envision including personal narratives or community stories to highlight the impact of your work and promote digital equity awareness. I do want to say that we are intentionally broad about our definition of stories and storytelling. And I want to say that up front, where it could look like news coverage or a different way of sharing community narratives. It could also look like events. It could look however makes sense for your project and um, creative ways that you're looking at the work. Really, the goal is that we don't want to limit your creativity and how you're thinking on innovating what storytelling could look like. So keep that in mind as you're responding to that question. Then moving on, this is our last scored question of the four, and we're asking you to describe how your organization's proposed project will help build vibrant, sustainable, and inclusive communities where people want to live, learn, work, and play. And this is really us asking about how do you see your project? What is the vision for the impact on equity, on livelihood and wellness, accessibility that you hope to achieve? And then, like I mentioned earlier, there is an optional 3-minute video submission that's highly desired by the review panel. This is, again, you'll hear us talk a lot about creativity, and this is another opportunity for you to really show your story and your organization's role in a way that's not just, on a application sheet, right? And these videos do not need to be professionally filmed or edited. A simple landscape mode on a smartphone recording works great. We just wanted to hear in your own words and see how you approach this prompt. And a YouTube, Vimeo, Dropbox, Google Drive link, anything that you could link back to the video, you can include in the submission here. And we're on to the final question of the application, which is really just asking for your feedback and to score from these 5 options here, your experience filling out the application, so we know and can keep track of accessibility and things of that nature. And that closes out the application overview. And I'll end here on some key dates to keep in mind. The application opened on December 12th of now last year. Happy 2026 again. And applications are due by 5 p.m. Central Time, Friday, January 14th. All applicants can expect to hear if they've been selected for funding by January 28th. And then following that, by February 2nd, we will put out a public announcement on selected grantees. And like I shared the email address in the chat a moment ago when we first got started. If you have any questions that we're not able to cover today or something comes to you tomorrow, for example, please email grants@citybureau.org with your question. And for fairness and visibility, we'll also publish any questions we receive by end of day this Friday on the website at citybureau.org, which we will also share in the chat now. And that concludes our slide presentation. I'm just going to leave us on this screen here so you can see the link to where you can find the application and more of the grant program information, as well as the email address available. And I could see some movement happening in our chat here. Mauricio, I'll pass it to you if you have any final words or insights you want to share while we review some of the responses coming in.
No, just thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you everyone for joining us. And happy to take questions now, and excited to see the wonderful application and the wonderful work you all are doing. Just want to reiterate the power and the power of innovation and creativity. We really want to see that being highlighted. So looking forward to it.
And I'm seeing a question here around word or character counts. I'm just going to stop screen sharing here for a moment. I believe the character count is around 1,400 characters. Let me just double check that. Like Kyla mentioned, we're using a different platform this time around. And sometimes one thing I've noticed about digital equity work is the more you do it, the more troubleshooting and tech issues show up on the day to day, just to keep you on your toes. Um, but I see we have a question here. You have your hand raised.
Hi, yes, thanks again, Tyra. So looking at this map here, digital equity map, I've looked at it a couple times. I just want to be clear on what I'm seeing here. Um, as far as totally understand this is for, suburbs outside of Chicago. There's plenty to choose from. My question is, are we looking to impact suburbs closer to the red or the blue? Normally I would think like red, but maybe I'm just reading this wrong.
Thank you for asking that question. We made an intentional choice of making the areas that already are red hot with internet access and opportunity to be red,
Hmm.
and the areas that are full of opportunities to grow, those are blue. So you're looking for the areas that have the lowest digital equity score out of 100.
Thank you, Kyla.
Aaron, I see you also have your hand raised.
Hi there. Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is a fantastic opportunity, and we're really excited. I do have a question. So my organization works nationwide and would be partnering with local organizations in, boots on the ground, if you will, in the area. Would we need to have the very specific partner locations identified prior to applying? Or would we be able to speak more generally about who we would like to partner with? For example, public libraries, let's say. Or would we need to have those specific branches already identified? And would we need any sort of letter of commitment or anything like that as a part of the application? Thank you.
I'll go ahead and take that, Tyra. So, Aaron, the purpose here, and certainly we are not against new projects or even national projects that are working and forming relationships in suburban Cook County. But we would want the strongest application possible at the time of review and consideration. So, a partnership that is named is going to fare stronger than a partnership in theory.
Makes sense. Thank you.
And we don't need the partner a letter because if you are a part of a partnership, it's part of the application. So we would hope that you would express your proposal and the partnership as part of your narrative.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I want to jump into this question from Sarah. Sarah asked the question, how directly do the storytelling aspects need to be related to the program? For example, we have a digital literacy program. Would student testimonials be admissible? So, Sarah, yes. But most importantly, this is a digital inclusion, digital equity intersection with storytelling. So storytelling is as important as the actual work project initiative that you are doing because we're trying to use our collective stories to raise more awareness, to ensure that our folks in our communities know that these services or these opportunities are available, that we're actually advancing digital equity across our county. So it has to be centered in storytelling. So if you have student testimonials and you get the proper permissions for them to be shared and do all that, and maybe create a storyboard and make a commitment to sharing a student success story every week as part of your proposal, that would be a strong proposal because you would be already doing your digital literacy work and then taking actual folks who are benefiting from the good work that you do and sharing that more broadly. So that would be considered a good, solid proposal in concept.
Just to add on to what you said there too, Kyla, around storytelling, a couple baseline expectations we've kept an eye out for when it comes to storytelling through this program is fairly simply, how are community members being engaged? How is digital equity uh, highlighted or shown a light through the storytelling? And is there a strategy? I would say like three kind of points that you could keep in mind when it comes to thinking of like how storytelling weaves into your program as well. These have been really insightful questions already. Thank you so much for folks taking the time to consider and think through thoughtfully about how you want to approach this application. I do want to open up space if there are other questions coming to mind, even if you feel like maybe somebody asked something similar or there's something you're just kind of noodling on. We have around 15 minutes here available. We'd be happy to use that time to provide any clarity.
Uh, uh, Tyra, I'm going to jump in on another question. There was a question around if it's a for-profit organization, can they partner with the nonprofit sponsor to submit the application? And I said yes, but would like to just provide a little bit more context around that. Partnerships are really key. That's one of the reasons why we included that in this slide deck, because we understand that everyone doesn't do everything well, right? So you may be the expert in your community or in your center that does digital literacy work, but maybe like marketing and communications just isn't your forte. But maybe your community has a community newspaper that could be your partner, and y'all together present a good proposal for consideration. I would say, though, if you are a for-profit organization, we are not looking for you to just get a fiscal relationship with a nonprofit sponsor for pass-through funds. We would prefer that you are thoughtful with who your nonprofit partner is for your proposal, so that we are again building our ecosystem, not just, helping to facilitate a financial transaction. So be thoughtful if you are a for-profit entity and you need nonprofit support. We have an entire ecosystem of people, schools, libraries, nonprofit organizations. Think broadly and even more innovatively. Look at the projects that have been funded previously and maybe propose a different sector. So maybe you're doing digital equity in art. Maybe you're doing digital equity in law. Maybe you're doing digital equity in small business. Like there's a wonderful opportunity for you to be really intentional around partnership.
Quick question. This is Vernon. So it would be very beneficial for us if we are applying with partner organizations that we've worked with on previous projects or things of that nature, or is this just saying like be specific in terms of like area in which we're partnering in, or just kind of like the specific fields? I just want to make sure because I've worked with a number of different nonprofits who would be good for this grant. I just want to make sure that I am working with them in the appropriate way that you want me to.
So I would say to that question, certainly establish partnerships if you've already worked with folks. Those work great, especially if it worked out really well. Now, if it didn't work out real well, I don't know if this is the application for you. But if it's an existing partnership where there has been great progress, like that's something to include in your application that will help to strengthen it, because it shows to us that you are a good partner, you're able to select good partners, and you've been able to do great things. We are not opposed, however, to new partners, because again, we are growing our ecosystem and everyone in Cook County isn't in our ecosystem. So we would love to see a new partnership. And now the applications are due next week. So you only have a little bit time to get those new partners, locked down and engaged in this process. But we are not opposed to new partners being added to program proposals, as long as it's purposed and driven towards digital equity, digital inclusion, and storytelling. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Vernon and Kyla. Monica, I see you also have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. My question is, I run an intervention service. So often, mostly, I work with people with special needs or they have a trauma. And often, well, specifically, I have to find the gaps where the person or family is lacking and try to fill that to bring them to what the standard is. Therefore, my work often has more than one issue. So, as I said, if I'm helping a young person with their reading and they don't have a computer, they don't know their passwords, the family does not know the password, they don't know how to ask for that. They feel intimidated talking to the teacher. So there's so many things that are there. My question then is, do I need to synthesize that or can I make that a list? And that's an issue that I often have because there is such a list when you are trying to work with a group that have many needs to even bring them to a place to do something simple as my page a day book club. I have a page a day book club for learners that get distracted easy. They only can do a page is a lot. So that's the work that I'm doing. But in explaining that to someone that doesn't have that issue, I often, you know, you know, I don't know how to, you can't explain it, just say, well, they just need this thing because they need many things. Can I say all of that in the application? Do my best.
So I would say there's going to be a character count. So you're only going to be able to say what you need to say within the character count before the field, doesn't allow you to say any more. I would say brevity, succinctness is probably key here. And this program is called the Small Grants Program for a reason. We know that this is not necessarily life-changing money for your organization, right? I wish I had it. Unfortunately, my budget is pretty small in comparison to some of the others across the county. So we are unable to offer larger grants, but we know that with small investment, big things can happen, right? Leveraging existing investments in your organizations, leveraging existing expertise and being innovative around, these small investments. So I would say to you, this money is not going to solve every problem for your organization and the population that you serve. It is really specific around digital inclusion and digital equity and ensuring that you share the stories. Because you do serve a specialized population, I think that's compelling to be able to say in your application that you serve a specialized population with many needs, and this is what you intend to do if your proposal is awarded. And just make it as plain as possible. Plain language is celebrated around here, okay? And
Okay.
sticking within the character count. Like we are
Okay.
not, just because it has 1,400 characters, that don't mean we need you to use all
Use all of
1,400
those. Okay.
unless it's meaningful to how you share your story.
Yes, thank you.
I do want to mention real quick too, and although optional, the video is highly encouraged. So if you felt like there was something that you want to do that was maybe not included as part of the application, or you wanted to highlight something on your work through that storytelling aspect, the video is highly encouraged for submission.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Takia, I see your hands raised. Did I say your name right?
Yes, Zakia is correct. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for breaking down everything so we don't go in this thing blind. My question is back to for profits. partnering with nonprofits. If the nonprofit is required to be the fiscal sponsor, so do you put their information on the application, or do you put the for-profit information on the application of the person of the entity that's applying?
So I think our application is set up so that you put who is the lead, and if you have a fiscal sponsor or a fiscal partner, then there's a place for that to be indicated. I think there's a checkbox to let us know that there's a fiscal partner, but it's whoever is going to be the lead on the application.
So a for-profit can be the lead with the fiscal partner. The fiscal partner doesn't necessarily, as the nonprofit, have to be the lead.
That is
Is there,
correct.
okay, is one preferred over the other, or it doesn't?
We don't have a preference.
Okay.
It's just a requirement for the funding to ensure that there's a nonprofit so that we can ensure good stewardship of the investment.
Got it.
And if you'd like a spot to clarify the partnership structure, for example, the project overview question would be a good place to just delineate, the who in the partnership is executing activities for the project, for example.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I missed this. Is there any matching funds or cost sharing that is proposed?
No matching, no cost sharing.
Thank you.
We are just about at close here. Thank you all for these really insightful questions and for being in the space here. I think we have time for maybe one more in case anybody wasn't able to get their question answered. So I'll just hold for a moment if other folks have questions they want to share before we wrap up.
Will you guys be sending a video recap?
Yes, this meeting is being recorded, and by this afternoon, we'll have the recording embedded on the City Bureau's webpage. I'll share a link to that here now, so you know where to find all the information.
Thanks for clarification.
I just shared that in the chat. Thank you all again so much. Happy New Year, and we're so excited to learn more about your work, your digital equity stories, and the approaches that you're hoping to bring to this ecosystem. Again, the due date is next week, Friday, January 14th, and we really look forward to learning more about each of your projects. Thank you again.
I think it's a Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Is it? Let's see here. You are right. Thank you for that. I am so sorry. It's 2026. We're getting our weekdays back in order here. Thank you for that. Wednesday, January 14th, applications are due. Apologies again for that. And thank you for the questions, for your attention, and for really coming to the space with creativity and thinking of how to amplify digital equity stories across suburban Cook County. Thank you all.
Thank you.